love to cook a standing rib roast. To me, there's nothing more gorgeous or beautiful to serve. I know right now it looks pretty intimidating. You're probably thinking, man, that's a huge chunk of meat. It's all plastic wrapped. What am I going to do with that thing? Well, I'm going to show you just how simple and easy it is. Let me get this out of the package, and then we'll talk more about how much meat do you buy, what kind do you buy, and how easy and quick it is to do. So this is our standing rib roast out of the package, ready for us to prepare. This is about a 14-pound rib roast. There are 6 ribs, and you can see each rib is tied with a string. This is what they call a bone-in but tied standing rib roast. And what that means is that the bones are actually in it, and at the base is the little rib bones, the little curved part that forms a base for the roast to cook on. But once it's cooked, you just cut each of these strings and it will lift right off of that rib base, and all the bones will come out in one piece, and you're left with a wonderful, glorious, cooked rib roast. Randy usually slices it with a electric knife, which works very well. I bought this size roast because each of these ribs will serve 3 people generously. And that's kind of my rule of thumb when I buy a standing rib roast. 3 people per rib. Prepare this to go into the oven. We're going to make a butter and herb crust that's going to go over the entire surface of the rib roast. It has only 2 ingredients. Of course, butter. I like the one that's made with olive oil. This is a 13-ounce tub of soft butter and a wonderful seasoned salt. This is a seasoned salt that I've used for years. It's Adams Reserve House Blend. It has all kinds of wonderful seasons inside, garlic and salt and all sorts of peppers. So it just goes great with a rib roast. It's a little bit spicy, and it makes the meat just have a beautiful crust. So we'll empty out our tub of butter first. Again, this is a 13-ounce tub of butter. You can use any sort of butter that you like, but it needs to be soft so that we can mix our seasonings in with it. I'm going to take this to the microwave and just soften it just a little bit, not melt it, just soften it. So we'll add our seasoned salt to this. Again, this is 2 tablespoons. And I find the best way to mix it is just with a pastry blender. So you just start sort of going like that. It takes a little bit of effort to mix it, but just keep using your pastry blender and it'll come together. It looks good. Get it all off your pastry blender. Smells good. I wish you guys could smell it. And again, it just makes the most beautiful crust on the roast. Now I warn you that the next step is a little bit messy, so be sure you have clean hands for this. We're just going to put this butter all over the outside of the roast. Let me kind of show you how to do it. Just like that. It's going to make the crust so delicious when we cook the meat. As I told you, it's messy. But just keep using your hands to do it. Smells so nice, so good. We're also going to do the ends of the meat once I get it all over the top and sides. What a glorious piece of meat. Can't wait to smell it cooking. Can't wait to eat it. Just like that. And we'll put some on each end. Oh, it's such a glorious piece of meat. So red, juicy. It's going to be absolutely delicious. Yum. Let me go wash my hands and then we'll finish. The last step before we put it into our roasting pan is to sprinkle it with some more of the seasoned salt. We're just going to sprinkle it all over so that it makes a beautiful crunchy crust. This herb seasoning smells so good. The butter. Sprinkle it all over. Looks so pretty. Just wait until we bake it. It'll be absolutely glorious. You should always make this part, I think, the day before. It eases up on the stress of the day when you're actually cooking it. And it needs to be refrigerated uncovered in its pan for anywhere from 12 to 24 hours so that the butter can set up and the seasonings can kind of go into the meat. You're going to want to take it out of the refrigerator at least 1 hour before you're going to cook it. You never want to cook any meat that's not close to room temperature. Once it's set out about an hour, you'll want to preheat your oven to 425. You're going to want to start this in a very hot oven. What that will do is it will cook it slightly, but it will seal in all the juices so that as we finish cooking it, the juices will stay inside the meat. We'll want to lower after an hour the temperature to 350 and cook this about 12 minutes per pound. To test for doneness, you want to use a meat thermometer. Just be sure and insert it away from the bone. If it's next to the bone, it won't give the correct reading. If you like your meat medium rare, you'll want the temperature to be between 120 and 130. For medium, 130 to 135. So I'll put this into my full line baking pan and refrigerate it overnight. And tomorrow I'll cook it and show you when it comes out of the oven. It's going to be glorious and it's going to smell so delicious as it's cooking. A great side dish for the standing rib roast is good old-fashioned cream corn. I like to use the frozen corn as opposed to the corn on the cob. I find it more consistently sweet and just easier to deal with. This is one 32-ounce bag plus a 14-ounce bag of frozen corn. And that should be plenty for 16 people. The ingredients are simple. You have heavy cream, salt and pepper, butter, 3 tablespoons of flour, 5 tablespoons of sugar, this is organic sugar, and some good old-fashioned bacon grease. Our first step is to combine the flour and sugar and salt and pepper together and mix it with the corn, so we'll do that first. Again, that's about 5 tablespoons of organic sugar, 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. I'm just going to grind some salt and pepper into that. I love how fresh ground pepper smells. Spicy and delicious. Some salt. I'm using pink Himalayan salt. You don't want to make it too salty here because most people salt their food as they please. Just mix that up a little bit. The sugar, flour, the salt and pepper. We'll pour that over the corn and mix it up. We want it to coat the corn. This is what's going to make our thickness. Looks good. All that sweetness from the sugar. Salt and the pepper. I think I'll put just a little bit more salt and pepper on top. Never can get too much pepper. And our next step is to brown this in the butter and bacon grease, and so we'll move to the stove to do that step next. I find that the best way to deal with this large amount of corn that I'm cooking is to use an electric skillet. I've got 3 tablespoons of bacon grease and the 2 tablespoons of butter, so I'll melt that first. Bacon grease smells good. Back in the day, our mothers used to have a little can that they would set on the stove with bacon grease, which I'm sure was fine. At least it didn't kill any of us. But I always keep my bacon grease in the refrigerator. I find that it lasts longer, and I don't know, I just feel it's a little bit safer. Bacon grease and butter smell delicious. I don't know what it is about the smell of bacon, but I just love it. Again, we have about 10 cups of corn here, so you could adjust your recipe accordingly. I'm cooking for 16 people, so I need quite a lot of the cream corn. Just about ready. Give me a piece of bacon. Okay, we'll add our corn now. Be careful when you add your corn that you don't have the bacon grease come up and burn you. Smells great. I have my electric skillet on about 350, so it's fairly high. Just keep stirring this until the corn becomes cooked just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more bacon grease, probably another tablespoon. Smelling really good. Bacon smell combined with that corn. It's just great. As the corn has gotten well coated with the bacon grease and the butter, I'm going to go ahead and add the heavy cream. Start out with a cup. Of course, that's going to cool the pan down just a little bit. This one's so good with the milk. I love how it looks so yellow and delicious. Also, this we're going to add about half a cup of water. We'll let this cook, stirring occasionally until it starts to thicken. It's going to be so creamy and delicious. I love cream corn. Even though it's January here, I still love it, even though traditionally it is sort of a summer dish that we think of in summer. That's what's so wonderful about the frozen corn is you can have this dish any time of year, not just summer. So we'll let this cook. It's going to probably take about 30 minutes to cook enough for it to thicken. Yummy. It's starting to thicken now. And I'm making this the day before the party. Once it's done here on the stove, I'll put it in a beautiful serving dish, but I want something also that can go into the oven. Because tomorrow, as my guests are arriving, I will already have set this out from the refrigerator, gotten it to room temperature, and then I'll pop it into a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes so that it can heat back and be delicious to serve with the standing rib roast. So creamy and delicious. You guys can see it. The heavy cream, bacon grease, butter, salt and pepper. It's just beautiful. Okay, I think that's about the right consistency. You want it to still be a little bit creamy, but not runny. I think that's perfect. So I'll transfer it now to the dish I'm going to serve it in. Yummy. So here it is, ready to go tomorrow to put in the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes just to heat. And I know my guests are going to love it. One of Randy's favorites, corn. Looks yummy. Can't wait.